portion of the meeting begins. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the rights of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the business administrator board secretary has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building, communicated to the Herald News, the Record, and filed with the clerk of the Borough of Hawthorne. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carr?
Present.
Mr. Clavia?
Present.
Mr. Doyle?
Present.
Ms. Ehrentraut?
Here.
Ms. Mulkey Colton?
Here.
Mr. Palouse?
Here.
Mr. Shortway?
Here.
Mrs. Zataro?
Present.
Mrs. Goff?
Here.
Here's that.
Please join me for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Meeting regulations. During each regular meeting, 2 opportunities are provided for citizens to ask questions and to make comments. During the first opportunity early on the agenda, the meeting is open to the public for the purpose of addressing items listed for approval on this agenda only. The second opportunity occurs just prior to adjournment, when the citizens may address any subject matter that is pertinent to and/or directly related to the operation of the school district. Persons wishing to speak must, upon being recognized, rise, state their name, address, and subject matter. Comments and questions shall be addressed to the board president or the presiding officer and shall be limited to 5 minutes per person. The board may or may not respond to issues raised by members of the public at the time they are raised, but will provide a response if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Please note that the board will not respond to comments regarding students or board employees in light of the privacy rights held by those individuals. Moreover, the board discourages comments about such individuals and will not be responsible for such comments. Members of the public who choose to speak during this public session should carefully consider their comments, since they can be held personally liable for any statements they make. Finally, please note that in accordance with the district policy, the board will not officially comment or respond to any matter mentioned unless it can confirm the matter has first been brought to the attention of the appropriate school personnel in an attempt to resolve the issue. Publicly heard agenda items only. Dr. Morell, welcome back.
Guess I have to chair up here.
Alma Morel, 61 Acre. Sorry, I have to catch my breath. There's no parking outside.
You got rid of your spot already, see?
I had a question about CNI item number 3, on page 3. Can you please clarify what the NJDA funding is? Is that grant money or
Grant
is that
money.
state aid?
It's grant money that we've gotten before. This is just a renewal, and it pays for the audiobooks that we have for our students. So we've had it for years. This is just a renewal.
Grant money, like ESEA, Marcus,
I know it's grant money. I could find out exactly what grant money, but I know it's grant money. I could find out for you.
Okay. That was my only question.
Thank you,
Nice to
Dr.
see you.
Morell. Seeing as no one else, we will be moving on to approval of the minutes for January 23rd of 2024, regular meeting, public and private. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Shortway and seconded by Mr. Totaro. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Clavia?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Ms. Ehrentraut?
Yes.
Ms. Mulkey Colton?
Yes.
Mr. Palouse?
Yes.
Mr. Shortway?
Yes.
Mrs. Zataro?
Yes.
Mrs. Goff?
Yes. I have no correspondence at this time. Dr. Sprader, do you have any correspondence?
I do not.
Okay. Reports. We have our.
Yeah, so we'll start with our auditor. Bill Swisher's here today from Suffolk Cleaning Company, so he'll give you an update on the audit.
Hello. Every school district each year has to have an independent audit done. We completed ours a few weeks back, and you get 2 reports to approve tonight. First one is the auditor's management report, and there if we have any findings or recommendations, we'll list them down in here, and you'll prepare a corrective action plan to fix those. This past year, we did have two findings and recommendations I'd like to read to the record. The first one has to deal with grants. We noted that there was no reconciliation between what was recorded on the district's county record for federal grant expenditures and what was drawn down for reimbursement on the state of New Jersey Department of Education Office of Grant Management e-week system. And the recommendation reads that the district reconcile what was recorded on the district's county records for federal grant expenditures with what was drawn down for reimbursement on the state of New Jersey Department of Education Office of Grant Management e-week system. You guys have several federal grants that you have. You spend money throughout the year and you draw the money down through the e-week system. There was no reconciliation that we were provided to kind of match up every expenditure to what was drawn down. It was the previous business administrator that was here. She may have kept something, but there was nothing could have been provided to us, so there's no actual reconciliation for us to look at. The second finding deals with your cafeteria. We've had this finding in a couple of our districts. It's been an issue over the last couple of years. The finding is that net cash resources exceeded 3 months average expenditures. And the recommendation is that the district take appropriate action to ensure that the net cash resources do not exceed 3 months average expenditures. Basically what's happening is you have too much money in your cafeteria. When the federal government gives you guys subsidy money, they don't want you guys to have too much money around. You guys build up too much surplus in your food service funds, so they want you to spend that down. One of the ways you do that is to reduce prices or buy equipment or any charge you can put against the cafeteria that will reduce your fund balance. Those are the only two recommendations that we had during the year. From a financial standpoint, you had a unmodified opinion for your audit report. That's the best thing you can get. That means we feel all the records that we provided by the business office were in satisfactory condition. And then fiscally, you guys were once again sound. You're able to increase your capital reserve up to $3.7 million, and your maintenance reserve came in a little over $2.5 million. So fiscally, you guys ended sound. Any specific questions?
Great. In regards to the two comments that you found, the grant reimbursements, that's basically, just to add some context to it, it's just not having a supporting schedule, right?
Right, and not that there's anything wrong, so we would like to just be able to see, be able to tie each disbursement back as opposed to, so there's various, 3 or 4 drawdowns each year for each grant. I'd like to be able to match those up to the accounting records specifically, and we couldn't do that because there's no reconciliation provided.
Well, at least maybe not one that we could provide that. We did change BAs, so maybe they would.
Well, and I think Janine is already on top of the situation, and
Okay.
by the end of this fiscal year, we'll be back on.
Beautiful.
Back on.
It's just a supporting schedule. Okay, great. And the other one, it's the food service one. It's that's a COVID residual, right? I think it's aren't a lot of districts did they end up
Yeah,
with,
a lot of districts. I
surplus?
believe it was actually a comment 2 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is not the first year we've had that.
Yeah, now what, you guys were barely over the limit.
Okay.
But in the federal government's eyes, if you're over the limit, they want to have a bonding recommendation in the report, so. So I think you're about $11,000 over the limit. So nothing egregious.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Swisher.
Good night, thank you.
Just so the board knows, Dr. Sprito did ask if I thought we each needed a paper copy of the audit, that thick booklet that Mr. Swisher had in his hand, and I did not think that we each needed one. We did have, if you want one, we have 3 available. Well, I mean, what a waste of resources. But they do have copies available at the board office and digitized if anybody wanted to see it in person. Normally we would have them and then give them to Janine.
I did post it in the board.
Yes.
Yep.
If anybody wants that hand copy, I believe we had 3. Did
We have
agree on
a
3?
few hard copies in
Yes.
the office.
Yes. This counselor is not present, but did she share?
She did share a report. Unfortunately, Brianna is a little under the weather tonight, so she asked me just to share her report. So she says, "Good evening, everyone. I hope that you're all having a fantastic beginning to this week. I'm so excited to share some fun news with all of you this month. Last week, course selection of the 24-25 school year began for underclassmen and 8th graders. This will go on until mid-April. The sophomore class organized candy grams last week to celebrate Valentine's Day. These were a great success. Student Council's blood drive will be on February 26th in the small gym. It is open to all students 16 years or older with a parent or guardian's permission. Student Council is also working on planning the upcoming Spirit Week and Spring fundraiser. And lastly, the school store will open on Fridays with all sorts of merchandise, all under $25. Be sure to check it out during lunch. Spanish Club is planning a club trip as well as for all participating members, excuse me. Looking forward to Monday night, March 11th, the high school will host the Winter Sports Awards to celebrate the winter season, basketball, winter track, bowling, hockey, and our cheer teams. And it will be in the auditorium at 7 o'clock p.m. And that's all I have for you guys tonight. Thank you, as always, and go Bears. In regards to my report, I have a number of things to share tonight. So first, I just want to remind everyone that kindergarten registration is currently underway for the September 2024. Registration is online. It's on our district website. So please, that's where the process begins. So we ask you to please visit our new website, actually. That went live today. I'm going to talk about it in a second. And on the top of the page, there's a registration tab right at the top of the new page, and you can begin the process there, and the schools will contact you to continue that process for kindergarten registration. In regard to our new website went live today. We're excited about the new format, which we feel is much more user-friendly. As we go forward, though, if there are things that come up or questions or ideas, suggestions with the new site, please feel free to reach out to the building principal or to my office. We're willing to listen to your feedback on the new site. The new web address and email is hawthorneschools.org. Currently, we're working on the process. I never realized how many steps in getting everything to point to your new web address, right? So we're almost there. Everything, the new website is up and hawthorneschools.org is active, but we're just working with the old website company to have them point the old address to the new address. So we're almost there, but the new site is up and active, and everything is updated on that site, including the agenda and the video links for tonight's meeting. Emails for our staff will continue to be, or going forward, will now be at hawthorneschools.org. All right. However, if people are still emailing the hawthorne.k12.nj.us, that will still be forwarded to the new email. So even if you're using the old email address, those will be forwarded to the staff. So teachers will get them, myself, though they still will get those emails, but we're encouraging everybody to transition to the hawthorneschools.org website and web address. Okay, in terms of activities in our schools, I have a number of things to share this month. So as you know, this is February is Black History Month, so I'm sure you've seen information from the schools regarding Black History Month activities in our schools. Obviously, that is celebrated annually in February, but we continue to incorporate activities throughout the school year. In the high school, Mrs. DiGeronimo does a great job each month of honoring the theme. And obviously this month in the library, she's offering instructional materials, resources. She engages students with library books and displays, bulletin boards, informational materials, daily announcements, posted flyers, and social media postings. This month obviously related to Black History Month, but every month she highlights what is being celebrated that month. And I want to thank Mrs. DiGeronimo in the high school for all the work that she does throughout the year to support these different events throughout the year. Also in March, as we enter March, we'll be celebrating Read Across America, and you'll be hearing information from the schools in regard to Read Across America activities. I know one of the activities that I enjoy participating every year is reading to the students in the schools, and I know Washington School has already begun that with Let's Celebrate Reading, where they invite guest readers to read to classes in their school, and I look forward to participating in that this coming week. So again, there'll be more information about Read Across America in the coming weeks, so stay tuned to those school announcements. They'll provide information for parents regarding activities taking place in the school. In terms of a high school update, we're excited to welcome our new Director of Guidance, Dr. Deborah Pfeiffer. She started today. I stopped in to see her, and I can tell you she was a little overwhelmed just getting herself settled. But we're happy to have Dr. Pfeiffer as our new Director of Guidance. Prior to becoming our director, she was a school counselor for a number of years, where she says she wore many hats. And she says, as a director now, I'm truly looking forward to working collaboratively with the district, students, and families in a variety of ways. I have a doctoral degree in educational leadership from Monmouth University and a master's degree in school counseling from Seton Hall University. Fun fact, I was born in Portugal and speak 3 different languages, English, Portuguese, and Spanish. And she says, I'm looking forward to working with each and every one of you. I am always a phone call or email away. So I look forward to getting to know Dr. Pfeiffer and working with her throughout the remainder of the school year. Some other highlights from the high school, our high school downspout dynamo capstone team. As you know, every year we talk about our capstone group and the work that they're doing, and every year they seem to, be successful in this steam tank competition. And once again, the team comprised of Ryan Corella, Josh Duran, Nathan Gehring, Jacob Hernandez, and Madrid Blue have achieved extraordinary success. Their groundbreaking downspout dynamo concept has propelled them to the regional steam tank competition, where they're currently in the process of constructing the prototype and devising data collection strategies, all in anticipation of the upcoming March competition. So congratulations to those students. Look forward to hearing more about that. A lot of high school updates, athletic updates to share at the high school. First, Jack Lorper won the district championship at his weight class, was also named the most outstanding wrestler. Caleb Ambrose and Cormac Smith took second place, and all three will move on to the regionals this coming week. I want to congratulate our cheer team. Last weekend they competed in the co-ed division at the Mustang Mania cheer competition. They took third place. Proud of that, our cheer team. I want to congratulate our bowling team, who defeated West Milford in the first round of the NJSIAA playoffs. They will move on to the next round, where they'll compete against Eastern Christian this Thursday. So good luck to our bowling team at the high school as well. In terms of some middle school updates, just want to mention that Leadership Camp registration is now open for any students, 5th graders, entering Lincoln Middle School. As you know, the Hawthorne Police Department runs a fantastic Leadership Camp every summer. This year it's from August 12th to August 16th. It's a week-long program. It's staffed by members of the Hawthorne Police Department, as well as some of our staff at Lincoln Middle School. And it provides opportunities for our students in 5th grade entering the middle school to transition. It is a wonderful program. Personally, all of my children participated, and hundreds of children have participated over the years. And I can't tell you the benefits that they will achieve by participating in this program. It is an absolutely worthwhile program. I encourage you to participate if you have a 5th grader going into Lincoln Middle School. Registration is currently open. And you can visit the Hawthorne Police Department website. I know I looked on it today, and there's a link there for registration for Leadership Camp. So please take advantage of that opportunity. Also, Lincoln Middle School held its school spelling bee last week, and first place went to Lily Desant. Runners-up were Landon Riley and Robert Bulmer. So all will compete in the county spelling bee tournament later this month. So congratulations to those students at Lincoln Middle School. And Mrs. Dever also shared that students have been enjoying their Den Days. During their last Den Day, students worked with marshmallows and spaghetti to build the tallest tower, or strongest and tallest tower. We were quite impressed with the designing and engineering that took place. Mrs. Sabatino's den was able to build the tallest structure at a height of 33 inches. And during the next Den Day, students will complete within the den in a 3-minute, minute-to-win-it challenge. In terms of our elementary schools, a few updates from elementary schools. First, I want to congratulate some students who participated in the Passaic County Calendar Contest. That's an annual contest, a poster contest every year that's run by Passaic County. So this year, I want to congratulate Kaylee Wagner, 4th grader at Jefferson School, who her artwork was selected as one of the 12 winning submissions this year. So congratulations, Kaylee. She attended an awards assembly at the Passaic County Police Academy. She received a medal, t-shirt, and certificate. And it says a few weeks later, we received an official commendation for Kaylee from the New Jersey State Senate. So way to go, Kaylee. Also, we had 2 students at Roosevelt School who received honorable mention. Avery Bushhoven and Nathaniel Bushnakis were recognized for their Passaic County poster contest entries. Avery and Nate were awarded honorable mention status at the ceremony and received medals, t-shirts, and certificates. So congratulations to all of those students. Also at the elementary schools, we've taken some opportunities for our middle school students to visit our elementary schools through our Sidekicks program. So that's been going on throughout the year, and it recently took place again. We have approximately 50 students at Lincoln Middle School participating in the Sidekicks program. They visited the elementary schools to work with the 4th graders. They talked about how to work towards your goals and be upstanding members of your school. And of course, our 4th graders always enjoy when the middle schoolers come down and visit with them as part of this new program. So we're happy to have this new Sidekicks program, and it seems to be going very well with our middle school students serving as mentors to our elementary students. Mr. Pies shared at Roosevelt School that Ms. Tamarchio and the 5th grade anti-bullying crew shared their monthly good character video with all their classrooms and encouraged the students and staff to show empathy during the month of February. Ms. Pizarro also coordinated with the anti-bullying crew to award students with brag tags for various good deeds. And Mrs. Tamarchio, as you know, as the board is aware, she'll be transitioning to the high school to replace Mr. Godomo on March 1st. Happy to have her at the high school, sad to see her leave the elementary school. She's done a great job there. We're excited about her transition to HHS. And finally, I just want to share that the 5th grade ROAR program continues as always, as it does each year at all of our schools. Recent lessons included conversations and activities on teamwork and peer pressure. And as always, we appreciate all that the members of the Hawthorne Police Department do for our students as part of this ROAR program throughout the year. We have different officers at each building, each elementary school, and they do a fantastic job with our elementary students talking about numerous topics. Last two, first I want to talk about the CJ Pride Virtual Job Fair. This is our second year partnering with a group called CJ Pride. It's the Central Jersey program for recruitment of diverse educators. So last year we participated in their job fair, which was in March. There's about 86 school districts that participate with this group called CJ Pride. We are one of them. I will tell you the job fair last year, which was also held in March, actually proved very beneficial to us. We actually hired a couple of people from this particular job fair, so we're looking forward to it taking place this year, March 21st. We'll actually be participating in a virtual meeting tomorrow to set up our virtual job fair booth. And it really went very well. It's an interesting format where it's real quick, 5 to 10 minute quick interview. But the nice part about it is the principals can interview people and then send, if they like them, they can actually send them to me, and I can interview them all virtually within a 15 or 20 minute period of time. So we were able to make some good connections last year. We actually hired some teachers from this job fair last year. So the job fair this year is on March 21st. So we will be participating again. We look forward to that job fair. And lastly, I just want to encourage all of our parents to review, not only take a look at our new website, but to review those weekly announcements sent by each of our schools. As you know, each school principal sends a weekly announcement every week with information about things happening in the school or upcoming events. I encourage you to please take a look at those announcements. There's a lot of good information in those announcements. And I know that some of the principals are also starting to share some virtual newsletters, or some electronic newsletters. So please take a look at those. There's a lot of great information. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Dr. Spruder, I have one question about the website conversion.
Sure.
We talked about the staff side, the student side, because that's their logins, right? Like they all put in their emails as logins.
Yes.
So have they done that?
I think we're still, Tamara, correct me if I'm wrong, we're still logging in with our
Yeah,
K-12.
so the students all have a student.hawthorneschools.org email, just like the staff does.
Right.
But because we didn't want to interfere with all the instructional apps that they're using during the school year,
Right.
we didn't change the primary name. That will happen over the summer, so
Okay.
next year they'll start logging
So
in.
they're still logging in
Yes.
the same way?
Yes, yes.
Are their emails still the same? The
Their
Hawthorne
emails,
and
exactly
not-
like staff, their Hawthorne and their new hawthorneschools.org email both go to them.
Okay,
just like
but they're
staff.
still using the old way to log in?
Exactly,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
And that'll change in the summer once we're past all the academic, calendar stuff, and we can actually close out all the instructional apps, then we can change that over.
Okay, and they'll, how will they be informed, the students?
We'll notify them over the summer before we make the change.
That handle is just, it's so long to remember. I know they have it saved in there, but man, it's a lot of information. Thank you, Dr. Sprito, for all that lovely information.
You're welcome.
Curriculum and instruction, Ms. Ehrentraut.
Thank you, Madam President. Pursuant to the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Committee on Curriculum and Instruction recommends the following resolutions. CI 1 through CI 4 on page 3, CI 5 through CI 11 on page 4. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Ehrentraut, seconded by Mr. Palouse. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Sure.
I know I've mentioned this before. The BCBA services contract that we are approving, I think, I could be wrong, but didn't we hire a new BCBA in district this year?
You're talking about CI2?
I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, that's for the extended school year program.
Is it the same company we use for the school year?
No, not.
I do think we've had them on.
We may
I've
have used
seen
them
them
throughout the
in
year, but
before.
this
Yeah.
particular one is for the extended school year. I'm sure we do use them throughout the year. We do have a BCBA, but this particular item is for the summer program. That's what specifically, this is what we're.
This is only approving the summer.
For the summer, we have to approve it now because we have to
Of
sign the
course.
contract
Of course.
to secure them for the summer. That's why we're doing it.
Okay.
It's early, but we're doing
And
it.
there's no like minimum in the contract, like let's say we're guaranteeing 30 hours or something?
No, there's no.
It's just as needed basis?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I actually had a question on CI2 myself. Is there a maximum number of hours that we're putting on that contract?
I don't have the contract with me. We can look. I don't
Okay.
know exactly.
And this administrative fee of $250, is that like a one-time fee?
Yes.
Okay. And for CI6, I read this, but then I just reread it. A one-to-one assistant, I'm assuming means an aide, and it's $50,000 for half of a school year.
So, unfortunately, so some of our students have one-to-one nurses. This particular
Sure.
student has a one-to-one personal care assistant.
Sure.
So that's
So
unfortunately.
it's beyond the scope of a typical one-to-one aid situation, because that is an extremely exorbitant. Okay. No, I know, there's nothing we can do, I didn't know.
So this
that-
person
It's
is
based on IEP, it's based on,
beyond a associate's degree paraprofessional?
I would assume.
Yes.
There's something very technical about what they're
Yes.
doing,
We
I'm
have a few
assuming.
students with personal care assistants, but this happens to be one of them.
Okay,
So CI6 and CI7 are two different positions?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah, they're
Different-
for two
different
different students.
students,
If you look at the file number.
I see it,
Different
thank you.
students.
Is there any other discussion? Just want to throw out there while we're having this discussion that these are the types of expenses that are not predictable and budget busting, if you will. And, you know, special ed is that way. There's nothing we can do about it. If it's the needs of the student, then that's what has to be done. Roll call, please.
Mr. Clavio,
Yes.
Mr. Doyle,
Yes.
Ms. Arentraut,
Yes.
Ms. Mulkey Coulson,
Yes.
Mr. Palouse,
Yes.
Mr. Shortley,
Yes.
Mr. Totaro,
Yes.
Mr. Park,
Yes.
Mrs. Goff.
Yes. Personnel, back to you, Ms. Arentraut.
Thank you. The following resolutions are pursuant to the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools. P1 through P13 on page 5, P14 through P26 on page 6, and P27 and P28 on page 7. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Arentraut, seconded again by Mr. Palouse. Any discussion?
It's right here. Just glad to see that the guidance department is falling into place, you know, with all the shifts we've had.
Yes.
Also glad to see that we have a coach for golf season coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna piggyback on that as well. Is that something that we think Mr. Warner is gonna be pursuing long-term or just for this season?
I don't know the answer to that. I know the coach kind of left last minute, so I'm not sure if he'll do it for years to come or just for this year.
Gotcha.
I was gonna ask on that too, is that head coach?
Yes,
They don't have assistants for
they
that?
don't have assistants, one coach
Well,
typically. They may have
that's
volunteer.
volunteer.
They're volunteer, but they don't
Yeah,
have paid assistants, let's put it that way.
Yep, yep.
Passionate volunteer.
Passionate volunteer.
Passionate volunteer, agreed.
Any other discussion? I'm happy to see that we're taking student field experience candidates, that people are still pursuing this career. I'm just happy to see that we're welcoming more people into the profession. Roll call, please.
Mr. Doyle,
Yes.
Ms. Arentraut,
Yes.
Ms. Mulkey Coulson,
Yes.
Mr. Palouse,
Yes.
Mr. Shortley,
Yes.
Mr. Totaro,
Yes.
Mr. Park,
Yes.
Mr. Clavio,
Yes.
Mrs. Goff.
Yes. Finance and Administration, Mr. Clevito.
Thank you, Madam President. Action items. Pursuant to the recommendation of Superintendent of Schools, the Committee on Finance and Administration recommends the following resolutions on page 7, F1 through F3. On page 8, F4 through F8. On page 9, F9 through F11. On page 10, F12 through F14. Actually, 8-2 on page 10. Continuing on to page 11, all the way to 8-8. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Clavijo, seconded by Mr. Totaro. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Erentrout?
Yes, but abstaining on A4.
Mrs. Mulkey Colton?
Yes.
Mr. Palouse?
Yes.
Mr. Shortway?
Yes.
Mr. Totaro?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Clevio?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Goff?
Yes. Claims. Back to you, Ms. Erentrout.
Busy day for me. Thank you, Becky, President Goff. I have reviewed the bill list in accordance with NJAC 6A:23-2:11B, C3, and C4. It is recommended that the board approve the bill list for the month of February.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Erentrout, seconded by Mr. Clavijo. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Mulkey Colton?
Yes.
Mr. Palouse?
Yes.
Mr. Shortway?
Yes.
Mr. Totaro?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Clevio?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Ms. Erentrout?
Yes.
Mrs. Goff?
Yes. Mr. Totaro, Buildings and Grounds.
Thank you, Madam President. Pursuant to the recommendations of the Superintendent of Schools, Committees on Buildings and Grounds recommends the following resolutions. On page 12, BG1 to BG3. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Totaro, seconded by Mr. Carr. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Palouse?
Yes.
Mr. Shortway?
Yes.
Mr. Totaro?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Clevio?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Ms. Erentrout?
Yes.
Ms. Mulkey Colton?
Yes.
Mrs. Goff?
Yes. Committee and liaison reports. Mr. Carr, I heard you have quite a hefty legislative.
Yep. So Governor Murphy was very busy since December 21st up until today. Following bills have been signed into law by Governor Murphy. The first being electric school bus program appropriation. Makes a supplemental appropriation of $15 million in fiscal year 2024 budget to fund the first year of the electric school bus program. Compostable food waste. Authorizes the school to deliver compostable or anaerobically digestible school waste generated by the school to another school, as long as the receiving school accepts the waste and composts it in an in-vessel composting or anaerobic digestion system. Brief instruction requires the State Board of Education to adopt and districts to implement New Jersey student learning standards pertaining to grief in the comprehensive health and physical education content area at its next required update of the standards. The standards will be included in the grades 8 to 12 and would address the physical, emotional, and behavioral symptoms of grief, coping mechanisms, and resources available to students. The New Jersey DOE is required to provide the district with age-appropriate resources to support implementation of the standards. The Vet Teach pilot program establishes the Vet Teach pilot program in New Jersey, designed to help address the educator shortage by helping facilitate teacher certification for the state's veterans. Under the pilot program, up to four-year public institutions of higher education selected by the Commissioner of Education would enroll in a 36-month teacher preparation program catering to veterans who served in the armed forces on or after September 11, 2000. Providing school meals info to parents revises the type of information that must be sent to parents or guardians at the beginning of the school year regarding the district school meal programs. Under legislation signed in September of 2022, school districts are required to provide, in paper or electronic format, parents with a school meals application form. This amends that requirement to specify that the application must be provided as a hard copy The new law also adds that districts must include a notice that an application to apply for school meal programs may be submitted at any time during the school year and is required to be submitted annually. Security drills and students with disabilities require certain documentation of the needs of students with disabilities during school security drills and emergency situations, as well as in school security plans. The bill also requires staff training on the needs of students with disabilities and emergency planning. More specifically, the bill requires all students and staff to fully participate in each emergency drill conducted to the greatest extent practicable, and when appropriate, utilize procedures for assisting in the rescue of persons unable to use the general means of egress to ensure that participation does not pose a safety risk. That school safety and security training provided to school employees of the current law address the unique needs of students with disabilities in the event of a fire drill, security drill, or actual emergency. Schools will be required to make employees aware of anticipated supports, such as those for mobility, medical and communication needs that will be required for these students, and any services that must be provided under students' individualized education plans, individualized health care plans, and 504 plans. That the building security drill guide and training materials developed by the Commissioner of Education and the New Jersey Office of Homeland Security include information on the unique needs of students with disabilities, including protocol for accommodating those students. School Safety and Security Task Force establishes a School Safety and Security Task Force to study and develop recommendations to improve school safety and security and to ensure a safe learning environment for students and employees. It will consist of 17 members, including representatives of various government agencies, education advocacy groups, and members of the public with expertise in school security. The task force will be charged with developing recommendations regarding several school security issues, including but not limited to the hardening of school perimeter and building entryways, strategies to ensure the needs of students with disabilities are reflected in all areas of emergency planning and response measures, and standards for architectural design for new construction. Transferring of county college credits to meet the EPP requirements. This prohibits educator preparation programs from restricting the number of accredited county college professional education credits that may be used to meet the teacher certification requirements of an educator preparation program, except as may be required by the EPP's accrediting organization. QPA award of certain contracts. This permits certain school district contracts to be awarded by a qualified purchasing agent. Specifically, the bill amends public school contracts law to stipulate that a contract having an anticipated value in excess of $17,500, but below the applicable bidding threshold, is not required to be awarded by a Board of Education and may be awarded by a purchasing agent that holds a qualified purchasing agent certificate. Temporary expansion of free school lunch, permanent expansion of free school breakfast. This new law requires school districts and non-public schools participating in the National School Lunch Program to provide free lunch during the 24-25 school year to students who are federally eligible for free or reduced price lunch, as well as students who are federally ineligible, but who have an annual household income of not more than 224% of the federal poverty level. The bill additionally amends existing law to clarify that both public and non-public schools offering school breakfasts pursuant to the federal school breakfast program will be required to provide such breakfasts free of charge both to federally eligible students and to students who are federally ineligible but who have an annual household income amounting not to less than 186% and not more than 224% of the federal poverty level. Eliminating the April budget vote eliminates the required public vote on school budgets below the tax levy growth cap for type 2 April districts. The new law also creates start and end dates for board member terms of 1/1 to 12/31 for November districts and 5/1 to 4/30 for April districts, rather than terms starting and ending at an organization meeting. The law further ensures that in a type 2 school district, the school board may not conduct a meeting other than for the organization meeting between January 1 and the organization date in districts with a November school election, and May 1 and the organization date for districts with an April school election. FAFSA graduation requirement requires students to complete financial aid applications as part of the high school graduation requirements. The bill provides that beginning with the 23-24 grade 11 class and for 2 years thereafter, a Board of Education or a Board of Trustees of a charter school shall require a student to complete and submit a financial aid application in a form prescribed by the Higher Education Standard Assistance Authority. This requirement will serve as a prerequisite to the student receiving a high school diploma. However, a student is exempt from this requirement if the student is at least 18 years of age or the student's parent or guardian submits a waiver form to the district or charter school. Non-public school transportation consortiums establishes a non-public school transportation program to provide funding to consortiums of non-public schools that will assume responsibility for mandated non-public school busing. Under the program, non-public schools in one or more counties would be authorized to form a consortium to assume responsibilities from participating school districts to provide transportation to and from the non-public schools or aid in lieu. the school district chooses to participate in the voluntary program, the district would disperse to the consortium an amount equal to the aid in lieu of transportation amount for each non-public school student for whom the school district would otherwise be required to provide transportation or aid in lieu. The bill's provisions will expire 3 years from this effective date. Also, the Commissioner of Education, in consultation with the Oversight Committee established pursuant to the bill's provisions, will be required to submit a report to the Governor and Legislature on the implementation of the program. Youth suicide prevention requires the New Jersey Youth Suicide Prevention Advisory Council to prepare a report regarding suicide prevention instruction in public schools. The report will include, but not be limited to, identifying the suicide prevention instruction currently provided to teaching staff members and students, reviewing the effectiveness and sufficiency of such instruction, identifying methods public schools may use to identify students who may be at risk for suicide or self-injury, identifying best practices in public schools for the prevention of youth suicide and self-injury, identifying opportunities to enhance access to mental health treatment in public schools, findings and recommendations including legislative and regulatory proposals. In preparing the report, the Council will develop a survey to collect data from local school districts, approved private schools for students with disabilities and charter and Renaissance school projects. The Council is required to submit the report to the Governor and Legislature within 12 months following the enactment of this legislation. Almost done. Innovative Dual Enrollment 2 pilot program establishes in the Department of Education a 3-year innovation dual enrollment 2 pilot program. The purpose of this program is to offer participating students in grades 9 through 12 a guidance start to post-secondary coursework through the provision of targeted supports and low-cost courses in which students may simultaneously earn high school and college credits. Student civic engagement permits excused absences for students who attend civic events. Specifically, the new law permits public schools pupils in grades 6 through 12 one excused absence to attend a civic event each school year and allows school districts to provide additional excused absences for such purposes. Excused absence taken under this law would not be reflected in student attendance records. Parents or guardians of pupils who wish to use an excused absence under this bill would be required to provide signed written notice of at least 5 school days in advance of the intended excused absence and such other documentation as the school district deems necessary to prove that the pupil meets the requirements for the excused absence. Youth disconnection prevention, which will be the final one for the evening, establishes the position of youth disconnection prevention and recovery ombudsperson in the New Jersey Department of Education and establishes the School Disconnection Prevention Task Force. The ombudsperson will be appointed by the governor, serve at the pleasure of the governor, and report directly to the Commissioner of Education. The duties of the ombudsperson include collaborating with school districts to develop and implement a statewide strategic plan of action, collaborating with a variety of governmental agencies to address the challenges facing student dropouts, developing best practices consistent with the recommendations of the School Disconnection Prevention Task Force, advising the Commissioner on ways to prevent students from disconnecting from school and strategies for re-engaging students who have disconnected from school. The task force established by law will consist of 25 members, including the Youth Disconnection Prevention and Recovery ombudsperson, who will serve as the chair of the task force, Commissioner of the Department of Education, Corrections, Labor and Workforce Development, Human Services and Children and Families, Secretary of Higher Education, the Executive Director of the Juvenile Justice Commission, and 17 members appointed by the Governor. This concludes my report.
Thank you so much, Mr. Farr. You have some water over there?
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Joe, do you have, Mr. Carr, do you have a bill number for that transportation bill? It was right before you mentioned about the suicide.
I do not.
No? Okay.
But I can get it for you.
I didn't know if you mentioned it and I missed it, so I'll look it up. Thank you.
That applies to us. The way it sounds, it would apply to a student of ours going to another school, a non-public school, right?
We do aid and lieu, right? Yes, we do that for people who go to Catholic schools.
Or doing that,
Yes.
just put into legislation now, it's not, right?
I think is already legislation.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I think what he's talking about is a consortium, like if a district wanted to group with a bunch of districts, surrounding districts,
Oh.
they
Lower
would
the
get
cost.
paid, the aid and lieu cost to transport another district
Yeah.
student.
Okay.
Wait till your first month on bills. Well, it has to be the right month, because aid and lieu is not every month.
Right.
But yes, we are already doing that. But
Okay,
people
so
who go
this
to
doesn't change anything for us.
Contract got the aid and lieu this
Oh,
month.
this month was aid and lieu. Yes.
But I had it last year, so I knew.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I think it's twice a year. Is it twice a year?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
saw
I see,
I had it twice.
Yeah, I've
June
done it.
and February and June.
Yeah, I had February last year.
Okay, so it doesn't change anything for us.
hopefully it would lower the cost.
That's
but
what, that's what I
I'm
was getting at.
hopeful.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah.
Because I know how much of our money goes to transportation
Mm-hmm.
to other schools.
Yeah, that's
All right.
right.
Fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
I wonder what the logic is with the one that you mentioned about the mandatory FAFSA as a high school graduation requirement. The libertarian in me kind of balks at that, right? I mean, have access to financial information. If you don't have any need for financial aid, then
Why apply?
why grant them access to that information?
But I'm hearing now, again, I'm not there yet, but from what I've been researching, some schools won't even release merit information to you unless you have filled out the FAFSA.
Yeah.
Which is not related at all to financial aid. That's a separate
Yeah.
funding. So they're sort of tying your hands anyway, as it is now, if you want any sort of funding.
Sounds like an overreach. If you don't have a need for financial aid.
Mr. Clavijo, Finance and Administration.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee did not meet. We had a ad hoc board meeting that took place in lieu of that. We did get the notes. I did have a conference call with Ms. Murray and Dr. Spirito. They were kind enough to go over the notes and add some context. The audit update, the findings that were discussed, that's what we, that's what was referenced in the meetings. The payroll position interviews are complete. Not sure how much further we're there, but that was, please, yes, thank you.
Yeah, so Ms. Murray conducted a number of interviews for our payroll position. As you know, we've been looking for somebody for that payroll position for about a year now. Unfortunately, we don't have someone to recommend at this time, but we have one candidate who we're working with, possibly recommend at a future meeting. The other candidates we didn't feel were viable candidates to move forward. So there is one that's a possibility. The candidate isn't 100% sure they're interested, so that's why we haven't recommended anybody at this time. But to be honest, there's just not a lot of applicants out there. There's not a lot of interest in that position. So if anybody knows someone, we're actively looking, and we're still working with a company right now to complete payroll. Janine's been working with them, but so I'm hoping maybe next month there's a possibility, but right now we don't have a candidate to recommend.
Is that Zoom thing that you're doing? I forgot what it was called.
Oh, the
Is
CJ
that
Pride.
just educators? Or is
Yeah,
it
it's
all
mostly
like,
educators.
I was like,
it's interesting. It's a good question. I have to look to see if there's.
Maybe it's.
Yeah, we have a meeting tomorrow, so you know what? I'll inquire about that. It's a good question.
I love that idea. I think that it's like speed dating, but for
Yes.
employees, I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's worked out well. So yeah, hopefully we'll have more information next month.
Thank you. So the challenge with that position continues. There is a grant, SDA, NJDOE emerging grant that is going to cover some of the sidewalks, which B&G might touch on. But the number for that is $52,478. Again, that's a grant to cover some sidewalk work. Budget update. At this point, the meetings are complete. The committee expects to, we anticipate meeting with Ms. Murray at some point within the next 2 weeks. Like in years past, the idea is to have a work session, at which point the entire board can ask questions and go over the proposed budget. There's a grant that Ms. Murray is working on. There's a reimbursement that's being processed. It's a clean energy grant. We were granted a 6-month extension, and once Ms. Murray is done with the budget, which is currently taking up the bulk of her time, she will work on getting the documentation needed for that, but she was able to secure a 6-month extension for that grant. And last but not least, just want to extend our appreciation to Ms. Murray because she has a lot on her plate. Not only is it a new system, she closed out the fiscal year as soon as she came in over the summer, QSAC, and just want to say thank you, and we're glad that you're here. And that concludes the report.
Thank you, Mr. Clavijo. Mr. Doyle, I know policy didn't meet, but I don't know if there's anything that you had to say.
Nothing to report. I do anticipate we will meet next month.
Okay. Ms. Ehrentraut, back to you for council liaison and curriculum instruction, which also didn't meet, but anything else you want to add?
Thank you, Madam President. For council, I do not have a report from the last meeting. There is another council meeting tomorrow evening, so next meeting I will have more info to report. We did not meet. Dr. Tribona did share some notes. I can share that we might begin working on a district-wide newsletter that would be mailed to or sent out to everyone in the Hawthorne community. So that's exciting that what's going on in our schools will be really officially shared with everyone. And we're looking into some programs specifically focused on special ed and tier 3 students, and we will have more information to share on that, but the programs sound pretty interesting. WonderWorks and Do Math, so hopefully something that, if approved, will be helping our students. So thank you. That concludes my reports.
Myself for NJSBA, just a friendly reminder that we have to fulfill our ethics disclosure. I spoke too soon last month when I said it hadn't got kicked back to me. It got kicked back to me. I put January of 23 instead of 24, and now I can't get back into the portal. So it's a whole other layer. Has anybody else is having the same issue or no? Just me? Okay, it's saying
I'm on my 4th time. This gay?
yes. It is cumbersome. I don't know. Anyway,
it's my first time, but like,
yeah,
I didn't mess the date. I don't know why.
Usually she'll provide you with the reason that it got
I
kicked
even
back.
like made a hard copy and scanned that in. I tried
Oh,
multiple
goodness.
ways.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Okay. Fingers crossed.
You're not alone.
It's one of those things that is just a necessary
Yeah.
evil, but it's a giant pain. But February 28th is the absolute last day that we can submit those. If we don't get them in, we are there. It does negatively impact the district. So.
Leap year helps out this year. Give us one more day to procrastinate.
But it still says the 28th is the due date. But
I don't know.
does it say the 29th?
I don't know. I have the email from Karen Skye, 29th.
Okay, 29th. And we'll do it on the, I hopefully can get back in. Additionally, I wanted to share some notes from the hockey rink ad hoc committee that met last week. Let me pull those up very briefly. We met, the 4 members of the board that are on the committee are myself, Mr. Clavijo, Mr. Totaro, Mr. Doyle. We met with the committee on the town side, Mr. Lane, both Pasquales, Mike Pasquale, the attorney, and Bob Pasquale, the president of the Board of Rec, and Mr. Bruce Bennett, a council member. The first thing that we did was the town had obtained, we asked to see more current rosters because they claimed that the rosters that we had dated December 1st of 2023 were not accurate. The rosters that we had at the time prior to the meeting showed that on the junior squad there were 7 Hawthorne residents and 13 out-of-town residents. On the senior squad there were 8 Hawthorne residents and 9 out-of-town residents. So they did provide us with new and updated rosters that Dr. Sprito did share with the greater board. The Board of Rec will be working to bolster the rosters. They say that is a priority of theirs, Mr. Pasquale shared. They believe the dip in participants, their stating, was related to the uncertainty of the season. They referenced a shared service agreement with North Hilden. The Board of Rec has a shared service agreement with North Hilden historically through all of the other sports, but the rosters that we were given had varying towns: Glen Rock, Ramsey. North Hilden students were on there, East Hanover, Wayne, Ridgewood, were also Lyndhurst, were also some of the other towns that were on there. Their stance is that the existing agreement that Mr. Houston provided to us is indefinite in length. Our attorney does not share that same sentiment. Our attorney pointed out that the original agreement, same agreement, states that only Hawthorne residents are entitled to the use of the rink. They are looking to accommodate a summer construction schedule. The borough side is looking to accommodate a summer construction schedule that would begin the day after school gets out and done well before the start of school in the fall. They're looking to award a contract as early as possible. They've redone their specs to lower their cost and are looking to save money, and they have built in time to rebid if necessary. They are looking to award a contract the 1st of May, more so even in April, I'm sorry, Mr. Maurer was also present on the phone. I forgot to include that. Eric Maurer was present on the phone. I didn't include him in the list of attendees. They're looking to do it in April so that they can rebid if necessary. They want to be out to bid in mid-March. The cost of estimates to install are in the neighborhood of $150,000. They are looking to keep the project around $300,000 in total. They are looking at a 3-week construction schedule from start to finish. We did note that football starts on April 5th. That's the first day after that blackout week. Their engineer did not say that it was not playable, meaning that it is playable as it stands after this year, but it would be more money to incur future repairs if they were needed. They are paying to have the boards currently stored at the vendor. I believe, was it Minnesota?
Pennsylvania.
No, we were definitely told it was Minnesota because they joked that it was close to Canada or. Anyway, it was about $7,500 or $8,000, Mr. Pasquale said, to store for 4 to 6 months. The boards have been constructed and generally may be usable to someone else. It was just our attorney asked if they would be able to sell them if they needed to. Possibly valuable to someone else at a discount. They did replace the boards that needed to be replaced. Mr. Houston did that. The engineer pointed out what needed to be fixed, and that was done. Not with the same kind of boards that were purchased. The kinds of boards that were purchased are more of a plexiglass material. The current boards are wood, and then they did get the okay again after that by the engineer to say that it was playable. And then they briefly reviewed the timeline and scope of all of the town's facilities projects that they have going on. So those are the notes from the meeting that I did share with you all. We will be meeting in executive session this evening to discuss the terms of the shared service agreement. If a future agreement does come to fruition, the board will then share it publicly for approval. But we will be discussing that privately this evening. And again, please get those ethics disclosures in. Okay. Ms. Mulkey-Colson, Passaic County School Boards.
Thank you. So we met on February 1st for the month. It was a roundtable online Zoom meeting. The topics were, my microphone's not on. The topics were advocacy and special education. It was really nice how they did it virtually. So we went to one group, had a roundtable discussion, and then they would put us like in another Zoom room where we could go over some laws and that list of legislation that you just did, we went over. And their next event is March 11th. You guys should have all gotten invitations for their Unsung Heroes, which is when schools nominate a student. I heard it's a really wonderful thing. And so hopefully someone from Hawthorne or everyone can go. You have to RSVP by March 1st, I believe, if anyone's interested. And then the next hybrid meeting after that in-person dinner is May 29th. That's it.
Thank you so much, Ms. Colton. Mr. Palouse, HEF, CPAC, PTO.
Thank you, Madam President. A few things tonight. Roosevelt has a Zumba night coming up on March 8th. It's going to be from 7 to 8 p.m. in the cafeteria. Make reservations by March 5th if you want to participate. It's very reasonable. It's $3 for staff, $5 for parents and guests. They also have Morris Takeout, February 28th, 10% give back night. And Urban Air Trampoline and Adventure Park in South Hackensack will be giving 20% back on Spirit Night, February 22nd from 5 to 7 p.m. Lincoln Middle School PTO has a 20% give back as well at Habit Burger. It's tonight up until 11 o'clock. So anybody watching, you can stop watching and go get some food at Habit Burger if you want. And additionally, LMS will be having a Taco Tuesday fundraiser at Cordova, in the Fairlawn Promenade. Okay, in the same area where the, okay. And that one's going to be on March 5th. So please try to make that one as well. Jefferson School is having their annual dinner dance again on March 7th. And rounding off tonight for CPAC, just another reminder that Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, is going to be the color run. And I'm not at liberty to promote anything outside of the school district yet, but rumor has it there might be some bands playing at Shortways that evening, or that afternoon. So you can go do your color run, get cleaned up, and then go have some food and listen to some good bands. My kids. Not sure yet, but that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Palouse. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Totaro with Buildings and Grounds, who flew all the way back from the Bahamas just to be here.
I did. Thank you, Madam President.
Private jet?
Yeah. We did not meet this month, but the following are a few updates regarding various items throughout the district. I think I mentioned last month we are waiting for the quotes from the town on replacing the sidewalk in front of LMS. The sidewalk replacement is being done in conjunction with the borough's Hawthorne Avenue repaving project. If I'm not mistaken, it was the left side of the front of the school, right? Or the whole front. The whole front. Excuse me. At the high school, the generator was delivered, I believe, on February 16th. Although all the other generators have been placed, not all have been connected. Once that's done, we'll have PSC&G come in and certify all the generators. Also, based on feedback from the Board of Education meeting earlier this year, we ordered a fence windscreen for Lincoln's play area. As soon as it arrives, it will be installed. And lastly, after three visits from the company, the Lincoln Middle School scoreboard was finally repaired. The company has replaced the radio antenna, power supply, and provided a new control panel. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Totaro. Public be heard. At this time, members of the public may ask questions or make comments on educational issues or school matters. Dr. Morrell just misses us up here. No. Is that Alma?
I think it is.
Yes, I see the light.
Okay.
Oh, now it's on. There.
Okay.
It's green. It's green means on, right? Can I have an update on the new board building, from where the accident happened?
Yes. Great question. So we were waiting for the current owners, not us yet. We were supposed to close in January. Unfortunately, because the accident has delayed the closing, they had offered to let us fix it, but the money they were going to give us wasn't going to be enough to, in our opinion, the architect and the attorney's opinion, to complete all the repairs. So we told them to move forward with the repairs, and as soon as the repairs were completed, that we would then inspect it and then close. But until they complete those repairs, we're kind of at a standstill.
Okay, so there really has been no final sale of the building?
Correct.
Okay. A question about, as you continue with the transition from the old Hawthorne website to the new one.
Yes.
I don't know, do you know if it's gonna be like, some of the info pages are not on the new one, and I just figured maybe they just haven't been transitioned over yet, or I don't know, like, for example, coming back to school on Monday, we weren't really sure what the schedule was, but then the new website didn't have it. And then the old, on the high school, yes, I'm sorry, on the, you know how they have the schedule? And then when you went on the high school page, currently, the page was no longer working. So now it doesn't even exist even on the new page.
Okay.
So
I'm
not rushing it, but I know there's patience to that, but that's definitely a page that I know my daughter visits pretty frequently to kind of remember what day of the rotation is, yeah.
No problem.
Just some suggestions, if you may. You had talked about the CJ Pride virtual fair.
Yes.
Does the district also post jobs at the New Jersey School Jobs website?
So we post them, yes, it's linked through Frontline. It links to the New Jersey School Jobs website.
Oh, okay. Because they also hold virtual job fairs. So I just thought I'd throw that out to you.
Okay, thank you.
And it's the same setup.
Okay.
And then the other suggestion regarding the payroll position, I don't know if this is an avenue that has been looked into, but reaching out to local colleges, businesses, especially as we're gearing up for kids graduating. You might have some accountants that are interested in heading into that. So I just thought, hit them up for that. And then the next one is pipe dream, but I'm gonna throw it out there. Since you're in the process of the budget process, if you can please consider looking into a plan of developing, inputting air conditioning window units. At least in some of our classrooms where we know historically are the hottest rooms, just to bring some relief for some of those classes. I understand that in the past there has been studies in terms of cost and to do whole whatever, you know, I'm not talking about a full HVAC unit, but if it could just simply be something for the window units, especially since I know in some of our buildings we do have brand new windows that should be able to support a window unit. So that's just something is on my wish list of things, and I know how tight budgets are, but if that is something that a plan could be put in place. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Morrell.
That suggestion about alumni, I saw that Patty Jacobson had just graduated as a, you know, just pursuing her CPA, but she finished as an accountant. She was, maybe.
Yeah, Patty's working with Ernst & Young.
A little bit higher.
She's not taking
But that's your point.
She is looking for, you know,
Yes.
she's looking for side revenues.
Yeah.
But that's a good point, though, you know, don't think about our alumni.
Yeah.
General comments and questions from the board related to the district, or new business, or old business. We'll take anything, just let us know what it is. Feel like starting on that side? Absolutely. Okay.
I know Mr. Blues brought up CPAC Color Run. I wanted to mention that we met January 24th. It's all CPAC meetings, more for the public, are on Zoom. They do ask that you pre-register, but it's just so nice to have parents to talk to and complain to and relate to. You don't have to leave your home. You don't need a babysitter for your kids. It's easy. And this past meeting, they had a someone come in and talk about dyslexia and what that looks like, also ADHD or ADD, and how to help your child who may be struggling. It was just really nice to talk to fellow moms and have that support. Sadly, it was only like 6 or 7 people, and that's like the most.
Yeah.
It's usually only 2 to 3. I don't know how to get people to, you know, we've talked about this I've talked about this so much sitting in the public, how to get people involved, especially our students with disabilities whose parents maybe need a little bit more support. So I just wanted to mention that if anybody's watching who has a student with a 504 or an IEP, or a parent who just needs a little support. It's a really wonderful group of women that run it, and they're always there to support each other. I think that was it.
Are we allowed as a district to promote those events? Like, are they technically district events? Could our principals, could our principals embed, I'm just wondering if they could share the Zoom links in the weekly newsletters.
If they share them with the schools, because we do PTO events all the time, if they share them with us, we share, we share rec flyers, we share all kinds of stuff. So if they share, if there's particular meetings they want to share certain things, or, you know, just send it to me, and I can disseminate it to the principals, and they'll put it in their weekly reports.
Erica, maybe we can just talk to the.
Okay, that would be.
Especially if they have a presenter, somebody specific.
Even as, I've been involved with CPAC since we started up again 10 years ago, and I didn't even know that each school has a liaison until 2 months ago, till September when I volunteered to be Roosevelt's liaison. I didn't even know it existed, and I wish I had. So I think there's a lot of great things that we're doing that people don't know about, and that's one of them.
I don't even know that they know meetings are happening. So
exactly.
If we can get the meeting link information into a newsletter.
Okay.
And then
the reports, we could share.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That would share it with me,
principals
and I'll
can share
get it
it
to the
out.
principals.
Okay.
any flyers that come to me, I share that with the principals and they put it in their weekly report. So if there's
Okay.
something specific they want to share, by
Yeah.
all means, we're happy to share that.
Okay.
So just share with the leadership there that
Yeah,
if
I
they
will.
get the information.
I will absolutely let them know. And then I just wanted to share another wonderful thing in town, also related to special education. The Bear Cave, I don't know if the public knows this, but they make t-shirts. They do a wonderful job at it. I found out, I think the first year they started, and had used them for my preschool students in Fairlawn. And then I partnered with the Roosevelt PTO for our 5th graders and said, hey, let's use our own people to make our t-shirts. So they're going to be making our 5th grader t-shirts for their, hopefully we get them for the class trip and then for the end of the school. And I just think, it's just,
I love that.
I love it. It's all within Hawthorne, and we're helping out our kids at all ages, at all levels. And then that leadership program, just to basically say what you said, my 2 older kids went. It's just an amazing week. I kind of had pushed my 2 older sons to go because they thought it was going to be cheesy, and then by day 1 they were like, can we do this 2 weeks? So I already signed Luke up because I'm gung-ho. I think it's just such a wonderful program, and something that a third thing that I mentioned tonight that we're doing for our kids that really is Hawthorne and what we talk about, our small community and the family and all these wonderful things that we're offering that hopefully is getting out to parents so they know about it and their kids aren't missing out.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Mr. Carr?
Good, thank you.
Mr. Shortway?
Yeah, excuse me. Congratulations to all the winter sports, especially the wrestling team. They actually, as a team, they made the state tournament again this year. Good luck to the 3 wrestlers that Dr. Spirito mentioned earlier. Caleb Ambrose, Cormac Smith, and Jack Lauper going to the regionals. And does anybody know what time Habit Burger is open till?
11.
Right.
I'll go with you.
Can we have our private meeting there?
We bring, okay, sorry.
Good.
Mr. Doyle?
Comment slash, I guess, idea. So I had sent an email out a week or 2 ago to everybody in the board. My apologies, I think I forgot to include you, Dr. Spirito. But, it's with regards to, you know how NorthJersey.com does the Athlete of the Week? They have a program for North Jersey Student of the Week. They do it through all the high schools. You know, it's incumbent upon the administrators of each high school, obviously, to submit candidates. But I saw it online, I read about it. It looks like a wonderful opportunity for, you know, if we're lucky enough to have someone win, get that notoriety, just like someone gets Athlete of the Week. Brings attention to the district and positivity, and it can only help, you know, with our younger children coming up from the grammar schools and the middle schools to see a high school student getting that kind of notoriety out of our high school. So I know my administrators were very busy at the high school, but maybe it's something we can look into. I don't know how labor intensive it is and what they have to submit, but I'll forward you the email I had. It had some basic information and I think a contact number.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
I just looked it up.
The high school is doing Student of the Month,
They do.
1 for each grade level. So perhaps even if they took that information and just nominated those those 4 students.
Start small and see where it goes.
Yes, or nominated, since there are 4 students they pick, they nominate 1 each week of the month. They wouldn't have to do anything different, they just have to present what they're already doing.
They're already doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's a great idea.
one more email to send, that's all. And that's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Doyle. Mr. Guglielmo?
Thank you. I also want to congratulate the senior athletes and their families. Good luck to our wrestlers moving on, and also to the bowling team. The other item I have is the unsung heroes. Our Hawthorne honoree is going to be Max Mados. So.
Thank you for, I forgot to mention.
Who is Student of the Month this month? With my
I
son's
sent the
other one.
email, I just got the email, but I forwarded it to all the board members just as we were sitting here. I forwarded you the email with the information for the event, for the ceremony.
Fine.
Thank you. Mr. Jotaro?
Thank you, Madam President. Congrats again to the winter athletes. Appreciate you bringing that up again, Alex, and especially saw Jack Lauper out there. That was awesome to see this week. So kudos to those guys. and all the athletes. Also, like Mrs. Wilkie-Colson said, I too signed up my daughter already. I thought that opportunity, and I jumped right on it. The last 2 years I've gone, and that's thanks to Mr. Clavillo, who's recommended me to go to it. And I recommend every board member, if you haven't done so, to try your best to take that opportunity, especially the graduation day. It's just an amazing sight to see the camaraderie amongst all the students and that connection, that bond that they built. So I'm really excited for my daughter to join. Can't even believe that she's in 5th grade already. So that's another story for another day. And that segues me because I know you spoke about Jefferson's dance on the 7th. However, there's the Gal Pal dance this Friday. In My Swiftie Era is the theme. I'll be going with my Travis Kelce shirt. So any of the Jefferson parents that are looking to go, Friday, see you there. That's it.
Ms. Sandra. Thank you. Mr. Clavillo, as you mentioned, I was going to congratulate Max Matos for being the unsung hero. I think it's so awesome reading more about it. It's so people know it's students who make the school a better place simply because they are part of it. So Max is such an awesome representation of Hawthorne for us this year. Also, on March 9th, I don't think this event has been mentioned yet tonight, but the marching band has a fundraiser dinner, fish and chips dinner, March 9th for everyone. And then lastly, this is an unusual comment, I guess, but just to highlight an accomplishment of one of our alumni, a 2006 alumni, Adam Fatz. I'm a friend, but just an alumni and a person in town, holds the Guinness World Record now. So there are not many alumni, I think, that hold world records, but he's an Army veteran, and he's the first person with pulmonary fibrosis and one lung to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. So wow. Yeah, and I know he's been interviewed on the news and the Towncast and everywhere, but it's nice to celebrate our current students and also our alumni. So wanted the public to know about it. So.
Article I tapped into in case
yes, tap into North Jersey, everywhere.
It's awesome.
Okay,
yeah.
go.
No, go ahead, jump.
Just one other thing, I think about the Bear Cave. Is there any way possible that the Board of Ed members can pitch in to get shirts made by the Bear Cave?
Sure.
Should we do that for us?
Danielle Porsche is amazing. She'll do whatever you want, basically, if you give her enough
that'd
time.
be nice, because I know we've talked about it in the past,
It'd be
doing
nice for
something.
Hawthorne Day or Parade.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe we can use that as a mechanism.
We can design something.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Are you still going?
All good.
All good, okay. Ironically, Erica, when you mentioned, promoting, and Mr. Doyle as well, promotion, right? We always talk about it. As I was giving my report about all these, give back nights, I thought, instead of me doing it here once a month, sometimes it's too soon, and sometimes like tonight, it's almost too late for Habit Burger. I was thinking maybe I'll start trying to get the information sooner, put it on my own Facebook page, maybe share it on some of the Hawthorne pages, but not just for the give backs nights, it's pretty much everything. If the more stuff we can get out there, the more people realize, and even the general public, not just people that have kids in district right now, whether they have kids coming up in district or like myself, we're already out, you're still part of the district, right? So even like give back nights, you could be anybody. If you like Habit Burger and you want to go there, you can just feel like you're still giving back and helping out, the school district. So I think it's a great idea. It's just a matter of how do we have, the capacity to continue to put out information about everything that we do and where do we do it. A newsletter, considering that's going to be going out, I think, to the entire community.
Entire community.
I mean, that's something that, even if it's a back page with a list of all the upcoming events, you get a few extra people going to these events, it's just a little bit extra, knowledge and maybe funding or whatever it might be. So I think that's all for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to just piggyback off of a couple of things that were said this evening. you know, obviously as a Board of Education, our focus is on the education of students, but it is the whole child that we're trying to develop. And as a mom of a junior, you start to, trust me, it hurts coming out of my mouth. You start to see how much the other experiences mean in the college application process. My son is a hero and cool kid mentor. My daughter is a sidekick mentor. Just all of those things along the way. Speaking about a leadership camp, you know, my daughter's in 8th grade. She has been waiting until this year to be a leadership camp mentor. I mean, they can't get enough of it. Even after you're done going through it, you want to still be involved in it. So those are the experiences that really build up the whole child, and that is very special and unique to Hawthorne, and it's really meaningful. Now that I'm on the other side of it, and you're looking for all those community service hours and just the things to put on your resume, the extra things that we provide to them, it really is amazing. And I want to thank everybody up here for their commitment to continue to do that for all of our children. That is all I have for this evening. We are going into private session. So be it resolved that the Hawthorne Board of Education convenes an executive session to discuss exempt matters pertaining to contract negotiation as well as personnel and legal matters. Be it further resolved, the anticipated executive session will be for 45 minutes in duration, and public action may not be taken. Be it further resolved that the minutes of the executive session will be made available upon determination by the board that the disclosure of the minutes will not detrimentally affect any right or interest of the board, and the need confidentiality no longer exists. I'll entertain a motion to go into private.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Clavijo, seconded by Mr. Clark. Roll call, please.
Mr. Shortway?
Yes.
Mrs. Zatoro?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Clavijo?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Ms. Aaron-Trout?
Yes.
Ms. Smokey Colton?
Yes.
Mr. Palouse?
Yes.
Mrs. Goff?
Yes. I also wanted to say thank you to a member of the community out there who's still trying to clear things up on Facebook when people put misinformation up.